All right, for today's quiz, I've got this massive coil. It's an inductor. All it is just a big loop of wire around an iron core. I've got a power supply. Out of the power supply, I come to a normally open switch, and then I branch into two light bulbs, and I have them very close together so you can see them. And then one of the light bulbs is going to go through that coil, which really doesn't have very much resistance. Great wire, just a coil, straight piece of wire that's wound around this piece of metal, goes to our common, and then the other light bulb goes to common. Our question simply asks, when I push that normally open button, what is going to happen? Here's what your quiz looks like. Let me hold that up for the camera. As always, mark your answer as completely as you can and list your confidence. Typical student responses are that coils are magic and somehow they're going to make bulbs light up brighter. Others will say that, look, I still have a little bit of resistance. This one might be a little bit dimmer. But most of the answers that we're going to get are simply going to say, look, if this doesn't really have any resistance and it's just a long wire coiled around a piece of iron, it should be identical. Nothing should be different whatsoever. And those are our typical responses that we get. All right, let's go ahead and do this. When I push the button, I want you to focus on both of these bulbs. And remember, the lower one goes through the coil, and the upper bulb here, we'll call that one L1, is just going straight to our common. So on the count of 3, 2, 1. So on the count of 3, 2, 1. And you could see this one has a delay, which is just crazy. How in the world can we get a delay? A lot of students are perplexed by this, and they'll say, look, I thought electricity went at the speed of light. How can you have a delay if the electrons are still going through the wire? And that is just going to open up what inductors can do. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful starting point when you're talking about coils. But now that we've seen this phenomenon, we can see that there's a delay. And by the way, that delay is because we need to establish a magnetic field through that DC. And that doesn't happen instantaneously. It takes a little bit of time. So a better question would be, if we were to now increase the number of coils in series, what would happen to our delay? So we can ask the students that again. And most of them are going to say, look, if I add another coil, it's simply going to double the effect. And then we might say, well, what if we tripled the number of coils? They would say, oh, we could triple the effect. You might then ask them, can you now formulate that into an equation with inductance being L? They could say, well, I think the total amount of inductance, L, would be equal to if I had one inductor and then I had another one and another one. Let's go ahead and test that. Let me get it set up. All right, I've doubled the inductance. I've got one inductor here going into another, and then finally to common. So let's watch our bulbs here again. And when I push these, look at that. And when I push these, look at that. An even bigger delay. Let's do 3. All right, now I've got 3 inductors connected in series. Let's press the button again. And look at that, a longer delay. Let me get a whole bunch of these set up. All right, I've got 6 massive inductors here. And remember, you're never going to see these kind of delays otherwise. But we purposely tried to make this so that you would see the effect. And so these are just absolute monstrous coils, and that's what allows us to see this effect. It happens all the time, but we normally can't see it. All right, we've got 6 of these hooked up. Let's take a look at the bulbs here. And look at that delay. That's pretty impressive. All right, this is just going to open up a whole bunch of questions about this mysterious nature of coils. And it's really not that mysterious. It's just field lines. And we'll end up building a series of lessons off this. But we just wanted to give you just a little teaser of what we can do with coils. All right, that's your quiz for today. Thank you for watching another Idealized Science Institute video. We are a nonprofit organization. If you like what you've seen, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want, leave a comment below. It's helpful to us. If you can financially support us, go to our website and hit the donate button. If you can't, simply by sharing these videos with other teachers and students in your life will be helpful. While at our website, you'll find that we have our Idealized Science Institute book that'll help you engage your students in dialogic discourse. There you'll also find we have a podcast where we break down educational research. We also have long-form lessons. If you're a teacher, you can watch these and go in the very next day and enact these. Along with this, we also have many other resources, including more quick quizzes. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.